Vinay Mistry sir. Vinay Mistry sir is basically a consulting CIO for a small and medium businesses. With his immense knowledge in technology, databases, and cloud, he is helping SMEs in their journey of technology. He is helping customers to plan their strategic journey to the cloud. As a CEO to SMEs, he has helped small and medium businesses to carve and implement their path to digitalization. Vinay is a very active in Oracle community and is being awarded as Oracle ACE for his outstanding efforts to share his knowledge with Oracle community. Vinay sir is also on board of All India Oracle Users Group and manages communications as well as the Mumbai chapter of AIOUG. Presently, Vinay sir is a founder and a consulting CIO at CoEqual Associates. So we are very much lucky to have you, sir, today on board with us at IT Talks. Basically, briefing you about IT Talks. Basically, it's an we have wherein we bring all the global intellectuals together so that they can share their knowledge and enlighten us with their knowledge, so that we they help us grow in coming near future, and we don't face much challenges because of your knowledge, and because there is no bet no better experience or no better knowledge that can be shared by any other person rather than being a knowledgeable person. So
Yeah,
start.
thanks a lot for having me here, Shivang, and it's been a pleasure to be with Atharva College for the first time. Thank you very much for setting up this forum, because it's a very important forum from the perspective of learning for students as well as the aspiring entrepreneurs. So yeah, thanks a lot for having me here.
Thank you so much, sir, for joining us. So today now our topic of discussion will be journey to cloud techno management perspective. This cloud techno thing, sir, whenever we hear technology, clouds, iCloud, OneDrive, drives, everything, this is all related to clouds. So before starting with anything, or before starting on the major discussion of what iCloud is and how it will be helpful in perspective management, majorly I want you to tell our viewers and the students out over here what actually cloud means. What does this cloud actually means? What does it holds for you? What's it important for you? Why it is much important for you?
Okay, so let me set the perspective. When we use cloud in our day-to-day lives, right? So we use a lot of media, like we use machines, we use cloud machines, we use Google Drives, we use Google Sheets, we use Google Slides, OneDrive. Yes, you said iCloud. I'm not a much of a fan, but yeah, iCloud. There are a lot of applications day in day out we use. It's not something which we're not using, uh, but yeah, it's day in day out we use. But when we see from the perspective of enterprises setting up their clouds, it's slightly different. Okay, so let me just take you through a small memory lane, how the cloud came into picture. So few years back, not few years, actually 10, 12 years back, how the way we used to work was uh, we were having something like one server on which the application is hosted, one database where the data is stored, and then that is being put up on the cloud. That is being put up on the internet. Just say suppose there is a website, so we just put it in this way. Slowly, what happened is the day by day the infrastructure got evolved. Now I used to have four CPU servers and a smaller servers of four CPU servers, and if I want to have, I have to add other four CPU servers to it. Now things are changing. We got we are getting 8 CPU servers. We are keeping 16 CPU servers. So these are right, ranging from 32 GB to 200, 256, 350, 350 GB of the RAM, which is huge actually. Okay, so what happens is we keep on our usage has got enormously high. So that is the reason people are the 4 GB machines are nowhere near to the what we need. What we need is the scalability. So people have started using, as the infrastructure grown, or the kind of infrastructure has grown, people started using higher configuration server. But at a point in time, they started feeling that I'm not utilizing this entire server at, on 100% level. I have planned for 5 years, and so I have blown up my infrastructure.
Mm-hmm.
So slowly, virtualization came into the picture, wherein people started slicing and dicing their machines. So now, where there was one machine running or one kind of application running, it has now multiple slices of the machines in one particular server. So then came into picture is, of course, it's very difficult to manage it. How I should manage it. So there were all hypervisors came into picture where you can do provisioning without knowing, without just take an image and create the VMs. So this happened very rapidly in last 2 years, last 5 years. This thing started rapidly happening, and at the same time, with the innovation of mobile phones, smartphones, the usability of the data is enormously high. So now the companies who were having their customer-centric applications, now they've started thinking about it. What should we do so that their need was first thing is scalability. So when I say there is a definition of cloud, that is definitely a definition of the cloud, which was which was built by National Institute of Standards and Technology by US Department. But I don't want to get into a exact definition, but uh, how cloud evolved after virtualization was, it is people wanted to have a rapid provisioning. I don't want to have a provisioning cycle of 10 days or 12 days. When I buy a server, it takes 10 days, 12 days to provision one particular server. They wanted to reduce that side, reduce their timelines. So they wanted rapid provisioning. They wanted faster releases of their small patches which they are building, because agile methodology came into picture where we just say 10 days rather, yeah, so we get 10 days sprint, and 10 days, every 10 days we add new functionalities. So they started having rapid releases. They wanted to have something like available everywhere. I don't want to, we know in the pandemic situation, we want everything available everywhere. So it is even the enterprises have to have applications available anywhere. So they come up with saying that they want something known as ubiquitous kind of a platform. So broader network access. Earlier we used to have, uh, intranet applications, right, for internal to one office area or one company. So what now in the future, now companies are also getting, growing like anything. So they are every day they're adding a new office or a new site or a new factory. So they wanted to have something which is quickly connected. Okay, they don't want to make more difference, more changes. So uh, if you see a cloud, a definition of cloud, or rather, I would say what makes a particular infrastructure cloud is, first is available everywhere. It is convenient to use, very important, because what happens is we did had virtualization, but the virtualization needs special skills. But today, if you go to public cloud, you don't need special skills. It's just a wizard, click, 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 done, right? So they want convenient, on-demand service. I want scalability. That means I want to scale from 2 CPU to 100 CPU, 120 CPU on a runtime without stopping my applications. Faster provisioning. I want to do it very quickly. I don't want to wait for server to come, then you install, implement. The entire cycle goes into runs into months. That has to be reduced to minutes. So that is rapid provisioning, faster releases. Every time I build a new application, we keep on adding them. We keep on putting them. So we call it as a CDCI. That is continuous development, continuous integration. Broader network access means supposedly if I want to have a regional kind of a DR activities, you can put that regional DR activities. Resource pooling means I've got a lot of resources which are lying in my infrastructure. I should be able to gather them together and use them. Then there is rapid elasticity. That's what I say. I'm growing faster. I need an elasticity to keep on adding the new servers. At the same time, I want a measured and monitored services. Okay, measure, monitoring, and reporting, because that's what is my cost saving, right? That's where I say that okay, I'm utilizing today 8 CPUs, but my utilization is just 50%. I will reduce my infrastructure to 4 CPUs. So these are the major part which makes a system or an infrastructure as cloud infrastructure. So that is a brief about what cloud is and how the cloud has evolved.
Exactly. So that this could only be a brief because cloud is such a huge topic wherein if you sit for an entire day or two, it won't be yet over because it has a lot of things to discuss in that. So
Exactly,
so that was
exactly.
a really good brief about what actually cloud is, and I hope our viewers got an insight of what basically cloud is. And as Sir mentioned a few good points, the very first one was we want availability of data at each and every point on our fingertips right now. Like right
Correct,
from our Aadhaar card number till the driving license number, each and everything we have on our phone right now, and that's because of cloud. DigiLocker, the application which we use,
correct,
it's an
exactly,
blessing of cloud itself. And also
correct,
secondly, like on demand things, people need on demand things, and because of this COVID, like our majorly our teachers definitely tell us, and that's a common factor you must have also observed, that we have developed a lazy attitude, right? So whenever we go outside, we tend to forget things, and because of this cloud, we have things on fingertips that if ever something is required, we can show the necessary documents which we have.
correct,
So
correct.
going ahead, sir, with this thing, like how will this benefit industries? How will this benefit upcoming industries or the industries which are already existing?
So as I said, when we say upcoming industries, the first motto of any company who is being laid out as a new fresh start, they should think from the perspective of cloud only. That's very important because that's where they can save a lot of. So if you see from the expense perspective also, there is something known as a capital expense where you buy and keep things, and there is something known as operational expense where you pay on a monthly basis or a subscription basis. So this is like an operational OPEX kind of a model. All clouds are OPEX kind of a model unless you go into private clouds or something which is in-house cloud services. But as far as all public clouds, they are all subscription based. So what happens is you can actually fail your products faster. You can create your product faster. You can fail your product faster. So there is something known as MVP. You can easily do those MVPs along with the alongside your daily routines. So when you are building a new company, definitely you should always go for cloud only solutions, right? For collaborations to storing your files to managing your even active directories, managing your collaboration suites the way we are talking right now. That has to be the way it should be available. Even virtual desktops for the people because in today's pandemic situation, the people cannot work from offices. So what you need is a VPN service. What you need is a making sure they are not stealing your data, making sure that they are your employees are not using something which has a virus in their system. Otherwise, what will happen is it will actually propagate everywhere, right? So that's how virtual desktops came into picture. So they should be thinking about it. So uh, to be very frank, the new organizations they've got a huge era of or huge set of cloud technologies we can use. Now, when it comes to the customers who already have or the people who already have their enterprises in place or enterprise applications in place, they have to take a different approach altogether. So when I'm saying that how they can embark on a journey to cloud, they have to think about 5 hours. They have to use 5 hour strategies. Number, it's rehost, replatform, re-architect, retire, and retain. Okay. So when you say rehost, that means they have to they can entire shift their applications which are lying on the cloud, are lying on premises as is to the cloud. Then when you say re-platform is they have to understand what this your public cloud is going to give as a platform. So there is a when you say enterprise application, there is known as infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, software as a service, and there is something known as code as a service. So these are all as a service kind of a model what they have. It is a long discussion when we get into each one of them, but uh, when we say rehost, we are using IaaS, that is infrastructure as a service. Just lifting your entire data center putting it on the public cloud. When you say re-platform, that means they have got some services. Like suppose there is a database services in place, you don't have to do anything. Just take a service, all patching, all updates is the platform is the cloud custom the cloud vendors headache. So you that is known as a platform what he is providing. You can utilize those platforms rather than building the servers. Architect means you actually your application is not uh, possible to be migrated to cloud, right? So what you do is you re-architect that so that it can be attached to the cloud. Then there are some applications which you don't even use and they are very age olds, or maybe you are planning to build a new ones, right? So you retire them. And when you say retain means, to be very frank, there are certain applications you can't push it on cloud. There are certain government regulations, there are certain data sovereignty issues. So in that case, you keep those applications inside your on premise, and you can create rest of the application can go on cloud, and you make a hybrid kind of infrastructure. So when it goes to enterprise, this is what their strategy has to be. Now, when you say what benefits they get, uh, benefits, to be very frank, it's the I would not say from the cost perspective at the moment, but from the perspective of scalability, they can scale it very easily.
Mm.
The flexibility of using those applications, so you can have any kind of operating systems, any kind of platforms on the solution. Uh, then adding their other sites rapidly. So these are certain some basic kind of thoughts behind having advantages. Definitely, there is a cost advantage, no doubt, but but it all depends. So when it's a new organization, there is definitely a cost advantage. But when there is an older organizations embarking on the journey of the cloud, there is how you are going to strategize your cloud migration is going to decide your cost savings and constantly changing. Okay, if you don't change constantly your applications once you are in cloud, you are not going to get any savings. So totally benefits is definitely there's a cost saving if you plan your migrations properly, strategize your migrations properly, scalability, flexibility, rapid provision, and broader access. These are the key things what enterprise customer can get.
Very much correctly said, sir, and it was a real good information on that. Now, coming to a point, like I have 2 to 3 points. One was the point when you said that you don't want your employees to steal data, and also you don't want any other person to misuse your data, which comes to the point of data integrity. I'll come to that point on the later half. First, coming to the point when you told that the constant change is required, and this is something which is a golden rule of each and every business, irrespective of being cloud or being in anything. You have to keep that
Correct.
constant change, or else you won't survive. But still, there are some companies who tend to go with the traditional approach. What do you advise them, or what do you think they should do? Because there are companies who don't change their approach. They are like, we'll go with the method of old is gold, and we'll stick to that. We don't want to change, or we won't change with that. So what would be your advice to those companies or to those organizations?
So, so as I said, change is connected to growth. Okay, number one thing. I would try to explain them that rather I need to understand what are the problems they are facing if they are going to cloud. As far as I know, the first thing in everyone's mind is कि भाई secure मेरी data secure रहेगी उसका क्या what is the insurance that my data will be secure. Now I would say uh, when I go to such customers, when you say they're on-premises data center, they are so loosely capped. Okay, so anyone who has got access to get into that data center, do whatever and come out. There are no video cameras being installed. There are some companies who do have, but then they are very easy to get in and get out, right? So when you have this kind of data centers, your data is 110% more secure than what is in the cloud. Okay, so it is not the data security is yeah, I agree. Earlier there was a thought process that my data is not secure. Today, each and every public cloud vendor has got standard standard and certifications by the various security authorities. Okay,
Hmm.
they do
Hmm.
all kind of pen testing, they do all kind of penetration testing, everything. They even their provisioning softwares are being tested from the security perspective. So even the majority of the clouds, I mean almost all of the public cloud services, your data in transport, your data at stay, everything is encrypted.
Hmm.
So
Yes.
your data is unless and until your architecture, what you build, that is your virtual architecture. So every public cloud, you have to build your virtual architecture inside your tenancy. So if that is being built properly, there are no loopholes in it. There is no way people can steal your data. That's the one big uh, thought process behind existing customers saying no to data, no to the cloud. Second thing is their compliance issues. Okay. Now, when we say compliance issue, that means there are some, say, suppose it's pharmaceutical companies. The first thing is data sovereignty. They cannot move their data outside India. Okay, that's the legal binding they have. Uh, Touchwood now, there are a lot many vendors who are a lot many cloud providers. They have started putting up their services inside geography of of India. So, like we have got AWS, we got Oracle, Microsoft is coming up, Google is already there. So these are all public cloud. They are now available in India. So the data sovereignty issues have moved out. But yeah, there is still people who have a backlash thinking that my data will get stolen. There is no way your data can be stolen unless you have made a pinhole in your firewall, right? That is possible even if when you have got on premises and you have made a pinhole which is not required. So my take on the people who are not moving to cloud, the first thing is today you can have on premises solutions. I'm sure over a period of time there will be 90% people will be using cloud. Okay, there is no way people are going to go away with the cloud. It can be on-premise cloud or it can be public, it can be a private cloud, it can be hybrid. But there is no way you can push down a cloud migration. At some point in time, some of your application has to go to the cloud. If you are not doing it, I'm definitely sure over a period of time your application will get redundant and you will be spending more money to change or upgrade your infrastructure to cloud. So I always tell my customers that it is a time right now that you have got possibility to move to the cloud. You should move it immediately when you are upgrading your system. Don't upgrade your infrastructure. Uh, Move it to cloud, or you can make sure you do a proper architecture of your cloud to make sure your data is not leaked. So the stake is growth lies with changes. And point number two is no way you can go away with cloud today, tomorrow, day after, 1 or 2 years. You have to go to the cloud. So I would put it this way to my customer. Then it is their call whether they want to go for or not. But I would try to explain them that this is what you are going to do. If you are not doing to do, you are definitely going to face problem in the future. That's how it is.
That's completely correct, sir. As you told that knowingly or unknowingly, at the end of the day, we are so much tied up with this growing technology that at the end of the day, you don't even know, but you're using cloud. You don't even know, but you're still using
Exactly.
cloud. When you watch a TV, when you watch a
Correct.
recorded live TV, that's also usage of cloud only. But you don't realize it. You only
Cloud
realize
only.
when
Yeah.
you have to put on your own data and you think that it might be a risk wherein my data might get leaked.
Exactly. Exactly.
And coming to the point wherein, sir, you told that there are still companies or there are still organizations wherein the data can be accessed easily. They don't have uh, that integrity of data so that no other person apart from the organization can see it. Majorly, sir, that was my major next point. Wherein, if we talk about developed countries like United States and UK and etc., they still have a good cloud computing systems. But talking about India, which is a developing nation, and with people not thorough with technology yet, I don't think so. There are more than 15 to 20% of the people who are thorough with the technology. So how do you
Correct.
convince them? Because it's not about that they are not only ready with the technology, or they are not aware about the technology, but also they are not aware about the things. And basically because of the literacy rate, there is this risk wherein each and everyone is very redundant to go online. Like making an online payment is also
Correct.
a big issue for them. They are not ready to make an online payment. Why? Because my data might get leaked, आप
I
मेरे
agree.
बैंक से पैसे चुरा लोगे, etc etc. There are many more things. So how will this thing
Correct.
work in India? Like if you explain this thing to a very intellectual person, or who has a basic knowledge of technology, he'll understand it in one go. But what a person
Correct.
who has no knowledge about thing and it's completely new for him, what would you tell to a layman?
So what I would tell to a layman is, okay, whenever you're saying my money is stored where is in bank, right? Your majority of banks are on cloud. Okay.
Yes.
So जब मैं बोलता हूँ कि मेरे पैसे कहाँ हैं, where is my money? Its money is in bank. Bank is on cloud. Bank is using cloud. मेरे आज everyone is using Android phones, right? Where do we store photos? Google Photos. What do you use? Gmail. Where your OTP comes on your phone, a smartphone. Nowadays, OTP comes on WhatsApp also. Nowadays, OTP comes on your emails as well. So, what you're in a way, here or there, you're using cloud. So, your data security, I would explain him that first, data security is in your hand. If you are going to keep on giving everyone your credit card number, you are going to be in a problem, right? So, you even if you are sending email to a credit card company, I've seen people who write entire credit card number. You don't have to just write 4 digits. So it is more of for these community of the people, you have to explain them, you have to be with them, you have to help them adopting new technologies, cloud technologies. So adoption plays a very important role, and adoption meaning handholding in adoption role when you are moving to cloud. So majority of the cloud implementation fails because people do not have that literacy about the cloud. They don't know how to use it. I have seen people who are using G Suite, but they don't even know that you can replace a Word and Excel to the Google Sheets and Google Work. Reason is they don't know because they are not being taught like that. We are being taught to use Microsoft Office from our school days, right? So we know that Word and Excel can only be in Microsoft Word. It cannot be on a Google. So people try to find a pirated version and they will start using it. But the amount of Word and Excel you use, you can easily use in a Google Suite, which is available to you free of cost, right? People use G Suite, they just use it as an email box, right? When you say a Google Gmail is Google Suite is an email box for everyone,
Email box.
any number of things with it. So it is in a layman terms, we have to explain them that when you're utilizing these services, what all additional services you have with it. So if a person is not ready to put use online now, they don't have an option with them being in the pandemic situation that they have to transfer money online. And the way the government regulations are coming up in the taxations and GST and all, there is no way they can, you know, use their hard cash to buy things. Because at a certain point in time, if you're paying more than 25,000 or 30,000 of cash, you have to give a PAN card number, right? It's better I go ahead and use a credit card or use a money which is lying in my bank. So
Yes.
when it comes for a layman to understand cloud or layman to get into the cloud is he has to think of uh, we have to make him think that in a day-to-day life where else you are where all places the cloud is touching you, then he will understand that okay, I'm already doing this, my more sensitive data is on my cloud like in on my email addresses, then it's no point in saying I will not go into the cloud, right? So that's the thought process behind it, that you have to explain, you have to teach, you have to coach, you have to mentor them uh, using
Hmm.
cloud to steal your data. Plenty of customer come, especially SMEs, they come with this because they have got a very thin footprint of using tech, but since they are growing, they want more IT to be utilized, or they want to use IT for their growth. So these problems, I get plenty of such questions always, that what is the security of my data? I say, where do you store your data? On your laptop, right? Do you have an antivirus? No, I don't have an antivirus. I use an open source, or I use AVG, or I will use an Avast. Then in that case, you are actually not secured at all at your own user level. First, you buy a proper antivirus, and then you ask me this question. That's the point.
So that's very important, that you need to educate people what is going on around us. The education regarding this thing is very important to each and everyone. Until unless you don't make them understand, they're not gonna understand. It's a very common thing. If you don't tell someone why you need to spend
Correct.
money, no one is gonna spend money. So
Exactly.
coming back to this thing, wherein uh, always I have this thought in my mind that whenever there is an introduction of a technology in an organization, there's always a thing wherein there is a replacement of a employee, right? A particular employee will be replaced, or there will be some changes in the employee. So how would it affect an employee who is not much updated with the technology, who is not very much has a hands-on technology, and then the company has introduced this cloud thing? How much will it affect those people?
So it's not something that you can see. You can't replace a person who is entering data in the system, right? The basic thumb rule of an
Hmm.
any application is you enter the data, you get an output, right? If
Hmm.
I have to have people who are going to enter data in the system. Only thing is, we have to explain, we have to teach, mentor them that you are doing it in X way, you have to do it in a Y way. Okay, so
Hmm. Hmm.
if you see from the perspective of, I agree, there is always a backlash from people who are on the level, who are actually on the lower cadre, that they will not use tech, or they don't want to change. Do it. So that is kind of an approach. If your people are not adopting new technology, make sure that was, this is going to be the way henceforth. You have to learn yourself. We will teach you, but you have to make sure that you utilize these processes. See, point is, every businesses have their processes, right? That processes we convert into applications. Correct? So when we are converting those into applications, people are uh, using a manual way on a book or an Excel, and as you give them an ERP, they will start thinking, oh, now ERP has come, my work is reduced, so I'll get less pay, or I'll be moved out from the organization, or we have 5 people, there will be only 2 people who will be working on this. But that is not the case. It's the management's perspective, that how they can utilize the additional resources they already have. They will move them into, they will shuffle the bit kind of a their resource pooling, they will shuffle them. Majority of the cases I've seen people thinking that, array, new technology has come, my job is at stake. That's not the case. You have to, but yeah, if you don't learn, if you don't understand what is coming up, if you are moving from a Tally to an SAP V1, if you don't understand how to use SAP V1, you are not going to be surviving in that position. So it is employees propagative that they have to learn and embrace new technologies. It is for good for them only. A person who is with the Tally knowledge might get some X rupees, but one with the SAP knowledge will get X plus 5 rupees, right? So it is there, it is good for them to learn these new things. So we have to explain them in this fashion. Second thing is, when we are saying that people, like tech people like us, I used to be a database administrator. Okay, so when we say database administrator, saying that a TBA, DBA is a lot of tasks are being automated. So when these tasks are being automated, then people think that, oh, my job is at stake. No. So whenever we take this session, we say, okay, you have a knowledge. You build your second layer of knowledge around that knowledge which you already have, or that experience you already have. that will give you a major, a good impact when you're coming out for a job change or a career change. So you don't, what people do is people will put this aside, what they know, and they will start to learn new things. No, you should learn. You have an experience. You learn things around it. That will make sure that you are actually adding to your knowledge and you are keeping your core as is. And that will give much better impact when you're going into the career change. So that's my
Uh,
take on that.
yes, very correctly, sir, said, sir. And also, Shubhi ma'am also mentioned that's the reason why IT awareness is important to amongst each and every one of us. And as you told that
Exactly.
whenever a technology, or not only about talking about technology, if ever there is any change in the system of working, there is an insecurity which dwells in each and every one. Like talking about this pandemic situation, there are companies who used to do door-to-door sales, but because of this pandemic, now you can't
Correct.
do door-to-door sales. You have to switch to the phone call sales. And then comes the point wherein
Correct.
people think, "नहीं, say, अरे यार, phone call sales मेरे बस का काम नहीं है." Like door to door, if I can sit with someone, I can do that, but I can't do that. So these are the things you need to learn and you need to adapt. Then only you will grow. As you gave the motto that if
Exactly.
you need to grow, you need to change, or else you won't grow, and you will be at the end of that, you will be just redundant with the things.
Exactly. Exactly.
Also, sir, there is a saying that this the inclusion of cloud, or when the clouds are included, there is a the money is being saved of the companies. What is your take on that?
To be very frank, as I said, there are two perspectives. One who is starting new, and one who is already having their long-lasting on-premises services. So when you are starting new, you are anyways going to save a lot of things uh, money perspective, thinking that you don't have to do an initial investment like the way you used to do it. You buy servers and buy a place to or co-locations to host those servers. You are not doing any of those. You are paying on a monthly basis. If you are failed, you don't have anything which is on your head from the IT perspective, right? You don't have to sell servers. You don't have to sell that space. You're not wasting money on the network side. So you actually don't have any luggage on the back if you are moving out from the that particular organizations or that particular kind of a business. And when it comes to the customers who are already having their applications in place, it's a myth that cloud would save them enormous money. That's not the case. What cloud can give them is the flexibility, scalability, and uh, ease of use. So when you're saying I'm moving to cloud, that does not mean that I'm going to save a hell lot of money. It's not the case. When you say a TCO over a period of 3 years or even over 5 years, the TCO remains almost similar. Okay, because there are additional costs like migration costs. You're migrating from your on-prem to the cloud. There are certain costs like connectivity between your office premises to the service provider. So that is an additional cost. So there are certain costs which is in addition to what your cloud usage is. Now what happens is, as I said, five strategies: rehost, replatform, re-architect, replan, or retain. So when you say rehost, lift and shift, there is minimum amount of cost saving you can have because you are just using the new infrastructure. Okay. Yes, you can save on the basis of reducing your footprint by, I was using 8 CPU server, now I use 4 CPU server. I will save some money. But that money is eroded when you are doing a left hand shift. That means there is a cost of migration which is to be added there. So when you say re-platform, yes, you can definitely save some money from the licenses perspective because these are all bundled licenses when it comes to platform. So you can definitely save must you will be save more than what you do it on a rehost. Then you say when you say re-architect is something where you are going to save a lot because you are actually moving from an heavy resource infra applications to lighter cloud native applications. So you are going to save a lot when you re-architect. Lot meaning much more than what you what you are putting it as part of the host and the platform. But definitely, again, there is a re-architecture cost. There is a rebuilding cost. If your applications is old enough to retire, you can definitely go ahead with re-architect because anyways you're going to go with a new application in a year or two. It's better you re-architect now when you're moving to cloud. So if you see from re-architect perspective, definitely there is going to be some saving, but at the same time there is a package of creating a new application. So when you case retire, I mean those applications were never used, so where it's a 100% saving for you. And when you say retain, there is no saving because you're keeping it on premise. So it is dependent on your migration strategies, your TCOs. Most important part is your total cost of ownership over a period of 3 and 5 years. In my past experience, there is no much difference when you calculate 5 years of TCO. Over a period of 5 years, you go re-platform, re-host, you go any of the services, but at the same, it is not going to be huge savings. But yes, there is going to be huge savings in terms of resource utilization. You don't have to have people who are sitting in your office to maintain those servers. Okay, so that is being, that becomes a shared cost with the customer. There is always an administration cost. It was there and it will be there in the cloud because you need a cloud administrator team to administer the entire cloud process. So, overall, if you say on a big picture, I have not seen huge savings on TCO over 5 years. Over a 10 years, yes, there will be definitely some TCO. There will be a substantial amount of saving. But if you say TCO of 3 and 5 years, I don't see there is a lot of cost saving because there's a migration cost and there is a replatforming cost or an re-architecture cost. So overall, it's a myth that it will save. It's going to save my money.
But as sir said that it's very important for the it will be helping in resource utilization, and I guess for each and every organization to be a successful and to be a profiting organization, it's very important for them to use their resources to the optimal. If you don't use the resources,
Correct.
you're wasting the resources and you won't achieve what you want to achieve. Like it might take some time. Like
Exactly.
if you use your resources to the optimum, you will be achieving the target in 2 years. If you don't, you will be achieving the target in 7 years. So the loss of 5 years, no one can make
Exactly.
the loss of time. No one can make you for the loss of the
Exactly.
time. You
And
can make. Yes, sir.
exactly that more agile you are there in changing, more savings you have as part of cloud. Means if you are changing constantly, you are utilizing new services which is provided by your platform or from your cloud provider where you can re-architect very easily. You don't have to like big codes or you don't need a big team to develop. You save money, right? So it is constantly changing even when you are on cloud, constantly monitoring. There will be, see what happens is when we migrate to left and check, we will always migrate X to X, I mean A to A. I'm not going to make change something like if I'm using 8 CPUs, I'm not going to go down and 4 CPUs at a first instance. I will still have 8 CPUs. But if you don't monitor that utilization over a period of time, you will not save money. So what you do is you utilize, you see that now that see as the infrastructure has grown, the CPU has evolved, the memory types of memory and storages have evolved. So what we used to do it in 4 CPUs, we can do it in 3 CPUs as well now, depending on their clock speed and a lot of stuff, right? It's an upgraded version of a CPU, right? So
Hmm.
utilization is the most important when you are getting into the cloud and constantly changing, shifting your infrastructure shapes will give them definitely some good amount of money. Now, classic examples: if you have a Diwali sale, you can blow up automatically. You can infrastructure in place. So I will make something like a auto scalable applications. So these are all changes over a period of time. If they do it just to the cloud and saying that I'm going to get some money out of it, it's not going to happen. You have to constantly change it.
Yes, sir. I completely agree with you on that point. So coming to my next question or the next point, which is completely related to me. to the students who are right now pursuing degrees or graduations and post graduations, what would you suggest to the freshers who are now coming into the market? Because there are two things right now. There is an upgradation in the technology. Secondly, because of this pandemic, once this pandemic gets over, there will be a lot of competition. Like there'll be people who are being laid off by the company after 15 years of experience, and then we'll be the one who will be having minimal experience of 1 year or 18 months, or else no experience. So what do you
Correct.
suggest us to do so that we get a like a percentage chances higher than what the other people have? What would be your suggestions if there's a person who wants to go ahead with the cloud computing thing, or wants to pursue the career in cloud, but also he knows that there is a lot of competition out there in the market? So what are your suggestions for them?
So I would answer in two parts. The first part is what students can do, and so let me ask first. Let me help you with the first what students can do. I've seen students have to constantly learn things. Okay, learning just C and learning just Java will not help. Now, majority of the applications are based on continuous development, continuous integration. You need to understand source code implementation. You need to understand GitHubs. You need to understand cloud native technologies. You need to understand Docker. You need to understand Kubernetes. There is whole set of application stack when a person who wants to become a developer. Now in industry, we don't need a developer who just knows Java. Okay, number one, they need full stack developer. Number two, they should have insights about how the source repository things work. They should know how to use Dockers. They should know how to use Kubernetes. They should know how to use cloud because these all are cloud native applications. So they need to use cloud. People want to understand if that person knows serverless or not. So these are the new technologies which students have to learn on their own. There is plenty of videos available, plenty of knowledge available. It's just matter of fact is you have to search, and there's plenty of free knowledge available. Okay, I'm not talking about the paid as well. I'm just talking about free knowledge available. So you have to go through those free knowledge and understand how you can utilize those portals or those that free knowledge. Start building small applications using maybe Amazon Cloud or an Oracle Cloud. Use those platforms. Understand how I can use those platforms now. If you say Amazon gives you uh, a year long of a trial period, right? So with some 300 or $400 credit, so you can utilize RDS, you can utilize your build small application on the cloud. Because when you build an application on cloud, it's slightly different than what you build it on your normal PHP server or normal Apache server. So you need to understand how it's going to work when it is being put up on the cloud. So my take to the student is you have got a lot of things to learn. Okay, if you are becoming a developer, if you are becoming an administrator, still you have got a lot of things to work. Right? You need to understand how I can see do a cloud monitoring, how I'm going to do the provisioning on the cloud, how I'm going to do an automated provisioning on cloud using Terraforms or Spectre. So there is an automated kind of a provision where you just code and it gets provisions on the fly. So you need to understand that. You need to understand the network in the or a virtual network designing of the cloud. You need to understand how I can design or how I can make sure that my applications are uh, secured on the cloud. There are cloud security applications, so they need to learn how they work. So administration has not become very easy, right? When you've got cloud, you have to make sure you learn what kind of security that cloud provides. When it comes to cloud, security is not just of the cloud vendor. Security is a responsibility with the cloud vendor and the person who is using it, or the enterprise who is using it. So these are the things what they have to learn on their own. There is plenty of things available. You go to Amazon's AWS website. There is whole lot of documentation for their Lambda, for their Kubernetes services, for their platform services. Same goes with Oracle, same goes with Google. They've got plenty of documentation, how to videos, trial accounts. You have to go and make your hands dirty. If you're not going to do it, you will not learn it. If you cannot, now the technologies have become like there is no theoretical knowledge. You need to constantly learn on your own. Right? So theoretical knowledge program Java, but that is a small part of the entire stack of development, right? Where you are actually just putting the logical things, but how you are implementing it is what the developer needs to understand. And the market is a full stack developers. You can't just say that I know database, so it's fine. I'll just learn database and I'm good to go. Market is a full stack developer. You should know HTML, you should know Java, you should know C, you should know at the end of the day how it's going to work on database. So my only if you're a developer, if you want to be an aspiring developer, learn full stack development. Okay, learn Kubernetes, learn Docker. These are very important things for you, even from the cloud perspective. If you are going to be on administration side, learn cloud administration. There is a whole lot of things you can do it as part of cloud administration. And now let me come to the colleges. Uh, what I feel is colleges have to move out from their silos of just giving theoretical knowledge. A lot of companies like AWS, Oracle, they are partnering with the colleges to making sure that they provide information about their products. See, knowing what the product does is the most important thing than using it. Okay. If I don't know what the cloud product is going to do, you are not going to learn about it. So there are these cloud providers are ready to help you with setting up the small labs, taking the trainings for your organizations. So if you say Oracle Academy, you can say AWS has got their education academy, which helps you to take these kind of courses to the students at a very reasonable rate at times, or at the times their lab setups are completely free. So for the college perspective, I would tell them that have connectivity to these uh, cloud providers. They will help you with building kind of a base inside your heads of your students. So they will at least understand that what that has to offer and how to utilize it is the secondary thing. What they can do it on their own, or maybe you can even set up a small classes for that. It is, to be very frank, when it comes to the experts, the cloud native journey is a 5 days program, 2 hours a day. Okay, that is what you can do. Hello world you can build out of it. So everyone has to be think from the perspective that I have to work, I have to learn. If I'll not learn, no one is going to teach me. Even if you go to the office, they are going to give you work. You have to learn, you have to do it. You will get mentorship. People will mentor you. कि ये तो गलत कर रहा है. But they will not say that what you have to do. That you have to manage. So if the onus is not just on the students, it's on the college.
Hello.
Yeah,
Hello. Yeah. Actually, sir, I couldn't hear you. That's the reason I interrupted you.
no, no. So yeah, so as I said, the onus is on not just.
Uh,
Yeah, go ahead, Shivang,
yes, sir.
with your
So
next question.
completely. Yes, yes. You completely correctly said that it is not only about what colleges give you, but also what you want to do on your own. And the most important thing is selecting what you want. You need to choose correctly what you want, as there are multiple servers available right in the market, right from AWS to Apache, and n number of languages like C है, Java है, R है, Python है, बहुत सारे languages. What you need to do, in which you are comfortable, what you need, what you are passionate about. So selection is also pretty much important of what you need to do. So how do you, what would you suggest,
Correct.
or what would you tell a person who how do you select what you want? How do you select a particular server? How do you select a particular language on which you need to work on?
So I would say learn the principles, learn the concept. I'm talking about specific to cloud. The platforms because it follows certain kind of standards which has been built by this directive. So they need to do is they need to understand the basic concepts behind cloud. When it comes to what should I choose, should I choose an AWS or should I choose an Oracle? From the student's perspective, they are a blank slate, right? So they need to. I personally feel they need to learn concepts because when they will get into the job, they don't know what they are going to end up with. They might end up with AWS, they might end up with Oracle, they might end up with CoEqual, they might end up with Pure Systems, they might end up with IBM get a private cloud. So if their concepts are strong, they will be able to relate everything. Then it's just matter of learning the tool. When it comes to selecting the technology from the development perspective or from the perspective of learning C, Python, say it is more of what area of expertise that person wants to get into. So now if someone wants to get into data science, R and Python is something they should go for. Okay, learning .NET is not going to help them. Learning Java is not going to help them much. So they need to learn Python. They need to learn uh, yeah. So they need to learn Python. They need to learn some kind of a tooling which gives the data science kind of outputs. So it is something like you need to the person has to select which stream of technology they want to get into. There is a data science, there is Internet of Technologies, there is networks and solutions, there is cloud services, there is pure development, there is cloud native applications, there is SAP, there is ERP system, there is a business analysis team. So it is a person's thought process. I think it is more of understanding that what they are strong at. So if they are strong at tech, I'm a production engineer. I was strong in technology. I moved into IT, right? So that's how people have to self retrospect that what part of technology they are good at. So if you say career progression, first 2 years you should you should work on everything possible. If you don't have work, try to generate some kind of a dummy work and do it. Okay, you have got everything open source available. So you have to first 2 years, your concentration should not be on money, your concentration should be on learning. 2 to 4 years. At the end of the 4 years, you will build your technology stack that okay, I'm very strong in this area. I'm going to pursue my further career in this. Then you get into the advanced level in that particular technology. So a person who is well out of the school college, you cannot have saying that okay, I'm going to do HTML. You will have to learn. You will have to make your first 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. You are going to make your technology stack, which you are going to utilize it to your mid and your senior level of careers. So there are the thought process behind us, behind our entire employment cycle is get over a period of 10 years, I should be a manager. Of course, you cannot be a manager over a period of 10 years. What you need to learn is where I'm a developer, there are developers who have 30 years of experience and earning much more than what a manager earns, or much more than what a director earns, because they are strong in their area. So what you need to learn is first 5 years, first 3 years or 4 years, don't think about money. Think about what you want to do or what technology you can absorb in your system. Then it is the time when you can start thinking about money. First 4 years in your career, you have to slog to understand where you are strong at. That's my take on people on people who are coming after college. I cannot tell a person is strong in what. It's their self introspection which will tell them that I'm good at database. It took me 4 years to understand that I was good at database. Okay, so it is their perspective. They have to learn on their own, retrospect what I am good. When you will retrospect, when you will work on those technologies. So if you are taking a job tomorrow, which is related to PHP and HTML, that does not mean that does not tell you that you can on your free time you cannot learn something new, right? So you have to keep on learning for first 4 years. Then you will be able to understand. Okay, I'm good at this.
Very appropriately said, sir, that the very initial years of the working experience, you need to just focus on what you can learn, what are the fields where you can grow, what are your strong points. Because if you run behind only the money, you won't be able to grow. Because down the years, after 4 5 years, that money won't give you the growth. Money won't give you the growth. Money won't let you live what you want to live for. It will give you money. बहुत सारा पैसा आ जाएगा, but the passion for which you are working, that will die, because money can't keep you running all the way down the line. After a
Correct.
particular age, you know that money is not important. You need to do something in life which is productive
So
for
I,
you.
I to be very frank, after 10 years, the passion only matters.
Exactly. Only the thing which matters is passion, and that's really important, especially for today's generation, to understand that you need to follow your passion and not run behind the money.
Correct.
So, majorly, I have learned one thing, so that whenever there is a introduction of technology, or whenever there is an introduction of new thing, there are no pros and cons of it, but still there are challenges that are being faced for each and everything which is being introduced. So, what are the challenges for cloud computing, or what are the challenges which a cloud faces, or the customers might face who are using the cloud, from both
So
ends, from clouds and from
it's a very
customers?
it's a very valid question because whenever something new comes in, there is always a challenge. Number one thing is uh, it is constantly evolving. Okay, daily, day in day out, there are changes happening to cloud. There were Gen 1s, there was Gen 2, Gen 3, Gen 4. So every time when you are moving toward different levels or different kind of, you're adding different things to the cloud, your generation changes. So it's the first thing what enterprises faces is the catching up with the technology which is coming into the market, or catching up with the technologies which is coming on the cloud. So there they have to make sure that they train their people who are actually connected with the cloud technologies, or who are actually working on the cloud. So one biggest challenge is it's overall entire technology stack. Entire technology is evolving like hell. So every day there is something new comes in. So keeping up with them is very important. Number two, there's a lot of versioning happening. I mean, if you buy one product, there's a lot of changes happening on day in day out, and customers they don't like changes. Okay, because their ERP is being, their applications are being set up after a long cycle of implementation, so they don't want that. I should be constantly changing it. But my take on them is, if they will not change over a period of time, that application will become redundant. So they will have to, rebuild the entire stack. So it is a challenge, but they don't have an option but to accept it, right? Third thing is understanding there are a lot of challenges from the perspective of moving from one cloud to another cloud. What happens is, I say, suppose I went to one particular X cloud, and then I'm not happy with it for all the good reasons. So when you go to the cloud, it's more of a customer service kind of a project, or customer service kind of an thought process behind person who is buying it. If I'm not getting good customer service, I want to move from cloud A to cloud B. But that movement, it's a bit difficult to manage. Okay, so that's also a challenge. So when you are in a cloud, moving from one cloud to the second cloud is a challenge. And then there is a migration challenges. Okay, you're migrating from your on-premises to cloud. Now our networks, which is yeah, I'm talking about the entire network across India, is not very very fast. Okay, so you cannot say that I can If I've got a 1.5 terabytes of data or 10 terabytes of data in my data center, to move that over a cloud, it might take 6 months if I'm using internet connectivity, right? So this is also a challenge that how I'm going to lift and shift. Uh, Next challenge is our when you say people were using applications, there is always people think from the perspective there is a slowness. So first thing comes is that application is bullshit. No, application is not wrong. It might be your latency across the networks, right? So when we are using working, say you are working from home and your VDI is low, then you will always curse VDI. But that's not the case. Your internet connectivity can also be low. So the challenges are not just from the perspective of using it, but the performance perspective. There is adoption perspective. Now, when I'm saying that I'm moving from a tele to an SAP, there is always an adoption problem. People will not start adopting it easily. You know, the lower people will say, "अरे tele बहुत easy है because मुझे आता है." They are not ready to learn. So the biggest challenge is to make them learn. Okay, bhai, this is good for you, good for the organization. You will need to learn this. So that is again a challenge. There are multiple challenges which comes in from the behavioral perspective. That now when IT thinks that no, I'm not getting the customer service, I want to move. Then comes as okay, moving is going to create me so much of cost. Okay, let it be for the 5 years. It's a challenge. Performances are the challenge because and one bigger change. I think this is getting reduced. Is the availability of the resources who knows cloud in and out. So your resource void is much higher in India than globally when it comes to the new technologies or the cloud technologies. No doubt, organizations like AWS and Oracle they are working at certifying people, but there is definitely a void that people have to fill in. If you don't have people working on it, how you are going to work on it? How you are going to utilize it, right? So that is one challenge what people are, what enterprises are facing. So I think the challenge is what students and what the employees are facing is how much they should be learning. That is one thing, and people think that okay, I'm bugged now. I don't want to learn anything new. I'm okay where I am. But as I said, if you want to grow, you need to change. You need to learn. That's the only motto you have in your life. If you are on the technology side, even today we are learning, right? We are constantly learning. After 16 years of 18 years of experience, we still are okay, ready to go to the classes and do the learning or do an online classes for learning new technologies. So learning, it's a challenge for the people who are now 15, 18 years of experience, but they have to embrace it and they have to do it. They have to learn. There is no software out. That's what I can say. Now, when enterprises, there are a lot of challenges from the cost perspective also. People are not moving for the simple reason that uh, the sales people, when there is a migration cost, cloud बेच के चले जाते हैं लोग, but then people have to use it. Migration cost, they don't show these costs to them, and that is the problem when people say that there is a challenge from the perspective of sales representatives as well. So when there are people who are selling it, they don't give full information, and that's where that's where there is a big void between thought processes and things don't fly, right? People don't start using cloud. So there are many challenges, and to be very frank, every customer I meet, I get a new challenge from them. If I'm going to talk, it's going to take 2, 3, 4, 5 hours for what challenges we have got. But then there is definitely, if there is a change, there is a challenge. If there is a challenge, there is a learning. And if you learn, if you do all these three, you grow.
Exactly, sir. Exactly. Basically, if I note down the few points which I had, which are the outcomes of this session, the very first thing is the change is the only constant. As I guess, Ms. Ritika Jain has also written that change is the only constant, and to grow you need to change. This is a one motto which I'll definitely take away from this session. Secondly, also the one more thing which sir has taught us today is you need to keep learning. You can't be always you can't become an expert in any of the thing, irrespective of, even if you have a 50 years of experience, still there are things you need to learn, because things are evolving so fast that within a blink of an eye there will be something introduced new and you need to learn that. And the moment when you think you know
Exactly.
everything, the moment you think कि अरे मेरे को तो सब आता है, that's the point wherein you will stop growing, and that's the point your downfall may start. So that was a really good session. So that was a really informative session. It was nice having this information, sir. I hope you also had a good time and enjoyed the session with us.
Definitely, definitely. It would be, thanks a lot for having me here. It's been, I think we were discussing this for past almost 2 months, and finally it has come to the board. Thank you. Thanks to the Atharva management having me here, and thanks to Shruti madam for arranging, setting up everything. Thanks Shivang for, constantly asking me questions, although, I mean, constantly asking me to, discuss about how we are going to do, but unfortunately, I was being a bit tied up. I could not give much time to them. But thanks a lot, guys. I mean, it's very close to my heart that when I talk to industry and students, and I'm looking forward for much more such sessions with you guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. That will be definitely we'll be arranging a few more sessions with you, because that was a really informative, and coming from a technological background, it was very much interesting for me too, because basically currently I'm pursuing MBA, but I was a student of computer engineering. So at the end of the day, it feels like it's a like it feels like homecoming, wherein you have spent your 4 years learning all these things, and like a bit of nostalgia for me that it was. So really thank you for such an informative session, sir. Also, I would like to thank Shri Sunil Rane, sir, Executive President of Atharva Group of Institute, and Dr. R.G. Ratnawat, Director of Atharva Institute of Management Studies, for giving us this wonderful platform to interact with masses. And also Dr. Shubhilal Agarwal, a Director of Internal Quality Assurance Cell IQAC, aimed for connecting with intellectual capital across the globe and helping us in giving me especially the opportunity to host the show and have an interaction with Vinay sir, and grow my knowledge. And uh, like as I said in the starting, that if there is nothing that can be better than a knowledgeable or an experienced person sharing his experience, because bookish knowledge will just tell you what is there in the process, but an experienced person will tell you what is going on around the globe and what you need to do. Books would tell you that, and that's really important, that you
Correct.
need to understand what's going on in the market. You need to have bookish knowledge that you will be using when you're working, but you will get to work when you know what's going on around the market. So that was really good talking to you, sir. Thank you so much, and thank you for your time, for giving us your precious time. I hope I haven't taken much of your time, and we'll be looking forward
No,
for
definitely
many more such.
it was it was well spent time. So well spent Saturday morning. But yeah, it is since it's close to my heart having these discussions. I'm always available for the discussion, even when someone wants to talk 1:1. I'm always available. Thank you very much.
Definitely. So this might be this is a kind of a hidden message for each and every viewer of this, and we'll forward that link. So thank you so much, Vinay sir, for your time and for your information and enlightening us with your knowledge and helping us around.
Thank you. Have a nice day.